All right, good afternoon, everyone, and I hope everyone is enjoying SAO so far. My name is Erica Grau. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Rhinogram. Today, during our roundtable discussion, Dr. Keith Dressler will show you the entire patient journey through the new paradigm of virtual care. I'd like to start off by telling you a little bit about our presenter. Dr. Dressler has 35 years of experience in private orthodontic practice. He currently serves on the advisory board of the American Teledentistry Association. He is also an avid entrepreneur. In 2000, Dr. Dressler co-founded OrthoBank, a cloud-based automated accounts receivable platform currently serving over 4,000 healthcare providers and is doing more than $450 million in sales annually. OrthoBank made the 500,000 list 5 years in a row for being among the fastest growing private companies in the US. In 1998, Dr. Dressler co-founded Elite Physician Services, a national healthcare patient finance company. As CEO and chairman, Dr. Dressler grew the business to $200 million in sales before it became the Citi Health Card in 2003. If you have any questions, please do ask them in the chat. We will do as many questions as we can at the end of the presentation. You can also get in touch with us by emailing us at hello@rhinogram.com, and we will be sure to follow up with you via email or phone call to help answer some questions. And I do not want to forget this. We do have special SAO pricing for this weekend. What you can do is you can go to our virtual booth on the SAO platform and talk with the rep there, and they can tell you all about that special pricing. So with that being said, Dr. Dressler, let's jump right into it.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. I feel very, very honored to be able to speak at the SAO. And I really want to set the stage because it's sort of been a very tough year for everyone. So I'm going to get us sort of in the right mood and get us out of these negative thoughts by starting with this. I hope to start with this. That's why I'm telling you, I just want to celebrate. Yeah, yeah. Another day of living. Yeah, I just want to celebrate. Another day of living. Yeah, I just want to celebrate. Another day of life. Anyway, I want to celebrate another day of living. I want to celebrate another day of life. COVID for sure has brought a lot of perspective to a lot of people's lives and what is important. And nothing can be more important than trying to stay positive in these and then being able to deliver virtual care to your patients. And you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a change. And the times are sure changing. So what is the virtual care paradigm shift? Well, it's minimizing the number of in-office visits while maintaining your best in-class, resulting in happier patients, staff, and increased practice profitability. I'm going to show you how we go through this and how you do it. But in the care continuum starts at the beginning, acquiring patients online. And then once they do become patients, engaging with them about their treatment that you're doing. And by doing all of this, hopefully you're going to have much happier doctors and staff because you will get 1 to 2 hours of time a day back. And at the same time, with the virtual care platform, you can actually communicate with each other about patient care. So let's start with the acquisition phase. So the journey starts by acquiring patients virtually. And to be able to do this, you need a good online presence. And the online presence begins with really companies that know how to put you out there, separate you, and tell what an orthodontist is versus anything and everything else that's out there. I can tell you these three companies are orthodontic specific to our industry. I love all three. I have no financial interest in any of these, but the first is Hip Creative, the second is Neon Canvas, and the third is People in Practice. They are incredibly great at getting you an online presence that is orthodontic specific, and they do an incredible job driving people to your website or virtual waiting room. And the goal there is to acquire patients online. Now, please understand that we're in a hybrid state. There will still be plenty of people that call your practice and you're going to acquire traditionally, but there's now a whole segment of the population that actually would prefer to be acquired online. So you have to have the ability to do that. Again, those marketing companies that I just mentioned and their website companies as well, they do a fantastic job of getting people to your virtual waiting room, with the goal being to have those patients send photos of their teeth, their insurance information, so that you can set up a video meet and greet. That's your goal of having them go there and do this for you. So once they have done that, you can then either have the doctor or treatment coordinator provide a cursory assessment based upon their photographs, insurance that they've given you, and anything else that can be set up by you, the practitioner, in whatever format you feel is best to delivering the best care to your patient. But what you want to be able to do is you want to be able, in as many times as possible, to tell the patient how long treatment's going to last and an approximate cost with a payment plan when you can. Is it going to be every single one? Absolutely not. And when you cannot tell, then you actually say, hey, I need to do more detailed measurements. You're a complicated case. And they understand very, very well that you can't give them some of the information they may want, but the vast majority you actually can do that. Along the way, virtually, again, you're going to potentially, you have the ability to collect the down payment before they even walk in your office. Obviously, you're collecting health history, HIPAA forms, COVID forms, and when you schedule them, you're actually scheduling them for an in-office visit for a planned same-day start. So this is not where, again, think about traditional, and traditional is they come in, so the first time you've seen them, they sit in your waiting room, fill out everything, they come back, you talk to them, then you hand them over, or however you do it with either the TC or whatnot. And then it's an unplanned same day start because a lot of people try to start them that same day. And your staff, even though it's somewhat the norm, they just hate it because they don't know if they're actually doing a start that day or not. One of the beautiful things about, again, virtual acquisition is you have it on the schedule to actually do the banding that day. So again, it gives you more ease and continuity, and not a lot of running around not knowing if they're going to do a banding or not a banding that day. At any rate, on the first in-office visit from a virtual acquisition perspective, what we do in my practice is they immediately come in. There's no filling out of paperwork or anything. An assistant will take them all the way back, the patient, begin to do x-rays. And if there's remaining paperwork to sign, they will take the mom and put her in our financial coordinator's office, and the mom will sign any remaining paperwork there. After that's done, after x-rays are done and paperwork's done, They move into the treatment room, and I will come in. I'll review the x-rays with them. I will review the photos. I'll do the physical exam to ensure there's nothing unusual there that would prevent us from actually starting that day, and or being able to share with them unusual things that have risk. So we gained final approval to go ahead and continue with same day start after that. And again, you're looking at 99% of the time or greater that you're going to actually start what you had actually scheduled. So again, it's really, really great. So they come in, you put the braces on or you scan for a liner treatment, whichever. But before they leave, just like you go over toothbrushing and everything else with them, and how to take care of emergencies with wax and mouth gels and things, we educate the patient about any perceived emergencies or problems that you think you have. Please selfie it to us, right, as soon as you know. And through the selfie, we then can assess, do we need to have that patient in our practice or not? And then all of my assistants will go over with the parent and the child uh, this Save Yourself a Trip card that we hand to every one of them, sharing with them all the things they can actually text and send pictures to us for versus having to call and actually come in for an appointment. So this is really what my office does. So now the acquisition stage has been complete. It's only one in-office visit. Again, minimizing the patient's in-office visit and maximizing efficiencies of the practice workflow. There was no sitting in the waiting room or maybe now in a car in a parking lot. All of that was taken care of at the beginning. It was simply taking the patient back, doing the x-rays and scans and photos and whatever else anyone wants to take, sitting down with the parent and just reassuring them that there's nothing unusual here, or if there is something unusual, being able to tell them about it. So it's really, really, really easy and not a whole heck of a lot of time spent anymore in these conversations. Now, I want to share, once they're patients now, I want to share some other things. There's changes of how you're going to actually treat these people, because some of their visits are going to be virtual. But let me share two common what I would call inefficiencies or potentially aggravations, however you want to term these. And I think every orthodontist would agree to these two. One is you see a patient for a braces check and it's scheduled for 15 minutes and they come in and they've got 5, 6 damn brackets off, and you're sitting there going, golly, I'm having to repair. Things have gone off course. We've had a chain and a bracket came off, a tooth squeezed out. Now we're having to put everything back together, and time has probably been lengthened and all these things. When you can educate well enough these patients to selfie problems, then you see it instantly. You can have them in if necessary right away, so that you keep their treatment running on time and you have fewer overruns. And that is just again, super critical to what I would call virtual check-ins or understandings of what the problem the patient has is, and you being able to address it almost in real time versus waiting 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks or however long, and then having to do it. When somebody sends something in, if you still can't tell, or you're having a problem through text communicating and even picture communicating, you can jump on a quick live video chat again with somebody, the doctor or a care team person or a TC or anybody in your office, and understand the problem a little better to make the decision again, do you have them in or do you not have them in? The other thing that again, somewhat is when you get people down the road, you're waiting on some root torque to occur, you have them in, and you're in, rectangular wires, big rectangular wires, and again, you're waiting on roots to move in. They've come in an 8 or 10 week interval, and you're just giving them that a boy or that a girl, and really not doing anything. So when we get to those stages in my practice, I've gone to 16-week in office visits. However, we do a virtual check-in in 8 weeks there. So I try to schedule as many braces checks at a 16-week time frame with an 8-week virtual check-in. And the virtual check-in in my practice is they send us 3 pictures, and we are actually texting them the 3 pictures to text us back, so that again, we can just make sure nothing's broken and things are where they are. They don't have to come in for me to give them that a boy or that a girl, and again, either pretending you're doing something when actually you've left those same wires in, or unlocking and locking back these self-ligating brackets, whatever you do there. This keeps them from having to come in, and it saves a lot of time, effort, and energy. When I look at my aligner cases, most of my aligner cases in my practice are a total of 3 in-office visits. What we do is obviously the first visit's the initial scan. The second visit, we try to do any attachments and all slenderization if we can, that visit. And then I hand them, this is mine, and again, you guys come up with your own. I hand them the first 2 sets of aligners because I want to judge how well are they actually going to do. And I have them send me photos with the aligners in and aligners out every 3 weeks for just those 2. So in a 3-week interval, we'll text them, send us pictures with the aligners in, aligners out. They do. And then I say, okay, move to aligner 2. They move to aligner 2. We have another 3-week check-in then. And then if everything is okay and I'm judging, yes, they're doing well, they're wearing it well, we're going to FedEx them the next 4 aligners and go to 2-week check-ins. If everything goes well for those 4 aligners, we then start FedExing them 8 aligners at a time until we get to the end of treatment. At the end of treatment, as all of you guys know, we would either rescan them for some adjustments that we couldn't get teeth to the right place, refinements, or we're actually going to have them in for their final retainers. We put a fixed retainer in the upper as well, if we're looking at closing space and having a frenectomy and things like that. But that's what we do at that 3rd visit. And I can tell you, at least my patients love this convenience and having a real doctor. This particular week, I actually did a video consult with a young lady who's had braces before, teeth have moved, was looking at in Smile Direct and the likes. And by me talking with her, she would much rather have a live orthodontist than somebody that she couldn't have this kind of access to. I am, a little more expensive, obviously, than them, but she didn't care. It was about being able to have the convenience of not having to come every single month or every 8 weeks or whatnot. That was most important to her. So we booked a visit, and she'll be in next week to come in and do the scan and get her started. But Again, these are the things that come out of being able to virtually do. And I also want to mention, I know there's plenty of people out there using dental monitoring. Again, I use photos, that works for me, but obviously if you want the most detailed stuff and patients will do it, dental monitor is a great tool to also use to monitor the aligners and their compliance. So either or is, again, each practitioner has their own best way of doing it. I'm by no means suggesting how you should do it, but there's lots of good ways to do it. At any rate, uh, this type of engagement with patients gives you the ability to keep more treatments on time. Again, minimize the number of overruns. And the most important thing I can tell you is it happens through channels your patients are familiar with. They love texting or social media messaging. Now, once you're completed, you get them into retainers. What I do is I do see them back for their first in-office retainer check. And then I ask every single one of them and or them and their parents, would you like to do your next visit as a virtual retainer check? And being that everybody in my practice, whether they're in braces or not, or in aligners, have had the experience of having a virtual care visit. So they would know, do they want to do this way or not? And again, the vast majority you'll find will say, yeah, I would rather do all the rest of my retainer checks as a virtual visit versus an in-office visit. It's far more convenient. And again, this keeps people out of your practice, opens up a tremendous amount of chair time. The other thing that's going to go on besides clinical is all the administrative engagement that you do with the patient, scheduling and rescheduling appointments, insurance communications about existing insurances, changing in insurance, et cetera, billing and actually paying bills. We have a text to pay feature that makes it incredibly nice. I will have to admit, the majority that this is used for is kids come in, they've forgotten the checkbook or their credit card, and we end up texting the mom who's at work, who cannot pick up the phone, but can receive the text with a link, and the mom pays the bill there, and then we remake a retainer or whatever we're doing. So it's really, really cool. And then likewise, team chat's really cool, keeping all of our communications in one place. So our team can talk with each other about patients. If I'm at a continuing ed class, which hopefully that'll happen in 2021, or on vacation, they communicate with me through the Rhinogram team communication side of the platform. So again, keeping all this compliant. All this leads to is happy doctors and happy staff, because again, everyone's getting back 1 to 2 hours of time a day, and it opens up so much time in your schedule for increased new patients. It's going to decrease your overhead because the fewer in-office visits saves you on sterilization and PPE costs, and which are much higher today than they were pre-COVID. And in certain circumstances, you don't really need as many employees. Now, those employees who might be listening to this, I'm not advocating that you're released or anything like that, but what it allows you to do is grow your practice substantially without having to necessarily grow your employees. And then likewise, you're gonna increase everything by increased incremental business, by adding virtual care acquisition services to your practice and virtual care services for those segment of the population that prefers this way of care. And again, it's not necessarily everyone yet, but I still believe as time goes on, it's going to become more and more and more. And in my practice, it's probably 60-40, 60 virtual, 40 traditional at this stage. I know what all of y'all guys are thinking now, especially those who may not have ever done this, is help. I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help. Well, the great news is you've got someone. Rhinogram's virtual care platform is really simple and easy, and you can see some of the feature sets here. For those of you who live in areas that are speaking different languages, one of the coolest features we have is language translation. And what that means is, let's just say it's Spanish, because that's probably the most common. They can type in Spanish, text in Spanish. Our platform will automatically convert that to English for you. You can type it back in English and it goes to them in Spanish. So it's really, really cool. The offices that are in Miami and California and southern part of Texas, they just absolutely love this language translation feature that we have. In my part of the country, I don't have quite as many in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where I'm at. But what's cool is now when Spanish speaking people come in and I'm doing an exam and they don't speak English, I'm having them text into the Rhinogram platform what they're doing. I'm texting back, and now they're understanding and we're communicating, but we're communicating in a different way. But at the end of the day, we're understanding each other. But you can see all the various things that the Rhinogram platform has, and I'm going to go over some of these: the bi-directional texting, the image and document sharing, live video calling, Facebook Messenger integration. So on your business Facebook page, we can bring all of those conversations into the Rhinogram platform, so you're not having to log into both. We do have a website widget. We've got analytics. We integrate with virtually all the practice management systems. We have connected parties. I'll show you that. We do, with integrated practices, we do have the ability to do, your automated appointment reminders. We've got smart messaging and routing, because when it's a text, you'll see in just a second, it's not one-to-one like a phone call. Phone call, whoever answers, that's one-to-one. It's coming in one-to-many. I have 5, 6 people logged in at once, and they're all over the practice. And again, I'll show you this in just a second. And of course, team communications and payment request. So what I'm going to share with you is that everything. Don't think twice. It's all right. Don't think twice about this, guys. It's going to be all right. We've got you by the hand. It's going to be simple and secure. I wanted to walk you through what the interface a little bit here. And we've got 3 different areas: things that get assigned to you. And when it's assigned to me up here, it's about patients pretty much, and it's maybe clinical things that get assigned to me. An at mention is down here in team communications. If any of y'all have used Slack, this is like we've built a Slack type of system here. And when you get mentioned about anything, when you're talking to staff about things, then it'll come up here, give you a badge. You can follow anything that is that you're in a group about. If you assign it to someone else, you want to follow it if you're not in that group, because otherwise you're not going to see the communications. So anyway, you can follow things. These are patient communications that come in. You'll have reception there, and all these other different types of teams and groups you can route them to. And then of course, you can create whatever you want there. This is what our interface looks like. You're actually text messaging here, but guess what? Most of these are templated responses. So you'll just come right in here to use template. You'll pick the template you're going to use, and boom, you send it. There's no typing at all. It makes communications even faster. So this is what you see, and you can see if somebody has given you financial consent that you can send them an invoice and a text to pay link. You can request the payment by just hitting that button and it'll text it to the patient. Up here is, you just click this. It's one of the coolest things ever. If you haven't seen our video chat, you click it, it'll send a link directly to the patient's phone. They click the link and it's going to say, do you allow the audio video? They would say yes, and boom, it brings them right into the conversation or into the waiting room, if you will. But usually I'm on, or my treatment coordinator's already on, so it brings them in that quick. And the beautiful part is they don't have to be tech savvy. They just need to know how to click a button and how to click the word allow, which is allow their audio or in video. This over here is, again, what about patients. We have communication consent, HIPAA consent, which is this H. We use a stoplight approach, and it's red, yellow, green. It starts at yellow, and they're either going to give you permission, which will turn it green, or they're going to say, no, you can't text with me about this, and it would turn it red. So we've got red, yellow, green, and we've got 3 different types of consent: communication consent, consent about texting with you about money, and then marketing consent is the third. You just can't start sending them and blasting them all kinds of marketing stuff without their consent. There's huge fines, and that's a TCPA law, not HIPAA, not anything else. It's with the FTC, FCC, when you're doing text. Very different than email, and the texting laws have lots of governing bodies with lots of details. But we've got you covered. We're gonna make it easy. So that's what you see here. So let me give you an example from my practice, I hope. I'm gonna come over here because I've already got it. And this lady's given me permission to show, but I want to show you how some things work. This would have come in as a telephone number, and it comes in as, hi, I was hoping to get some information about obtaining a quote for braces for my daughter. We've been procrastinating, but hearing good things about this. About this is the virtual exam, okay? And so one of my people who were logged in picked the template that basically, and it was Hannah, because we logged whoever it is, everybody is logged, every line is logged here. And this is a template. She didn't type this, she didn't attach this. It's a simple template. She picked it, and it says, text us 3 selfies of your teeth, like the attachment. Dr. Dressler is going to get back with you. Text us a picture of your insurance card, front and back. We'll be able to provide an exact cost with payment plan. And then you give the consent warning, and it says, please reply, agree to consent to these forms, to this form of communication. Here's the agree. She starts texting in the insurance card and pictures. As soon as pictures started coming in, it got assigned to me. So I get it. Okay, here are the pictures. And then I say, this is Dr. Dressler. I can easily take care of your daughter's needs. She would be in treatment 12 to 16 months. My financial coordinator will get back to you tomorrow with an exact cost after she checks your insurance. I look forward to taking awesome care of your daughter. I then assign it to the financial coordinator. She comes in the next morning. This is Becky. I'm the financial coordinator. I'm going to verify and get back to you. Mom says, thank you. Then Becky gets some more information about the daughter's name and date of birth, yada, yada. And by the way, I meant to share with you up here, there's the connected party. We do have a letter M for minor. This, at 16, if she starts driving herself, has her own cell phone, and she texts in, hey, I'm running a little late. Is that okay? We'll reply, yes, it is. But if Kendall basically said, hey, what's my account balance? We'll say, I'm sorry, Kendall, we can't share that with you, but we're more than happy to text that to your mom. But you've got to know who you can text with legally, who you can't text with legally, and that sort of thing. So again, all of that's built in. It's easy. But anyway, we set up pay arrangements. for her. Becky marked it complete. And this was 2 years ago, almost to the date, October 24th, about a week away. So what we do today, Becky would then actually assign this to my appointments team. My appointments team would then get this and send a link to the health history, the HIPAA forms, the COVID forms, all the things that we're dealing with today, having them fill it out before the patient came in, and would tell them when their same day start is and the time and the location of that. Patient comes in, we do the same day start. And this was my logo back then. I've had a logo change, which you'll see in a minute. But basically, again, if you look now, well, let me backpedal. If you look, you can see, well,
You're sharing just the PowerPoint. People can't see the app.
oh, they can't see my screen?
No, sorry. It's just the PowerPoint right now.
Well, how do I get them to see the screen?
Why don't we let's unshare your screen real quick.
Okay, sorry, people. I thought when this popped up, you would be able to see it. I'm so sorry. Okay, now what? Share again and bring that up.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think where is it? I think it's here. Yeah, it's here. Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let me backpedal with you again. So, and I'll go really, really quick. Here's where it came in. I'm sorry. Here's where it had come in there. Here's what my staff picked. And the patient said agree. Here's the insurance cards coming in. Here's the picture. It gets assigned to me. I reply. I then assign it back or I assign it to the insurance coordinator. So you can see this patient has already been with 3 people, been with somebody that was logged in, been with me, and now going to the financial coordinator. And then again, this then goes to an appointment team and they send it the link right here with the, all the forms and everything else. And this could be multiple links that they're being sent in today's world because there's multiple forms. And then Whitney is the assistant that helped me. Her job would be to actually take this picture, drop it into a picture frame. And again, 2 years ago, this was my logo. It's no longer there. And we text this to the mom. Kendall was a great patient today. Please remember to give her extra strength Tylenol every 6 to 8 hours. Feel free to share this on your page. What the moms usually do is share it with the daughter. The daughter shares it on TikTok or Snapchat, and then the mom will either share it on Instagram, Pinterest, or Facebook. And this is a free ad running around for your practice there. And you can see when she said agree, this is the communication consent that was green. So this was, I want to share something with you because this is really interesting with her. She was an incredibly awesome patient because this was when we put the braces on. We had no communication with her, if you will, about broken anything, no pictures sent in to us or anything. This is when we took them off. Okay, and we send this again, same type of thing here. So again, it's real simple, real easy. So I don't jump back to my PowerPoint while I'm here. I want to show you, this is my website. This is my new logo with everything. I want to share how easy it is when we drive patients here or to one of our landing pages on this site. They can do a free consultation. They can get an online smile quote because this is really what they're wanting to know. And then if they have any questions, they can click this. And this is the rhinogram feature that allows them to begin communicating with you and texting directly with them from your site. And again, rhinogram provides that little thing for your website. At any rate, let me move on from this. but this was showing you me. Let me stop my share and reshare again. Um, uh, and there's my PowerPoint, and we're back to that. And here are some of my ads that I've used, that one of those marketing companies have done for me. And these are just showing what they do and what they put out online to help drive people to virtual stuff. We also, because of COVID, I don't know if you can see this right here, we offered 20% off, up to $1,000. We did this, really, I think it ends this month, but we did it through the time we got back as a COVID discount. And I'm not a huge discounter of prices, but I just felt everybody was hit pretty hard in pretty much every area, that I wanted to try to do my part to help those people who wanted treatment there. So we gave a 20% up to $1,000 off treatment from whenever we were allowed back. I think we were allowed back June. So June through now, we've done it. Anyway, you saw my site. That's what this is. And what I want to leave you with before we get into questions is that Rhinogram will definitely give you what you want. And let's listen to a little music there. Got it. Anyway, Rhinogram is definitely going to give you what you want. Simple and easy. And being that I'm the founder of Rhinogram, I've used it since day one. And I'm also an orthodontist, obviously. I am available to any Rhinogram a client, and you can just pretty much call any one of them and say, hey, if they have any problems that don't seem to be able to be answered by the Rhinogram staff, they can simply pick up the phone and call my personal cell. I don't mind giving it to you. I don't mind helping you. I don't mind listening to things you think we should have in the platform. Again, this is just really to make really the changing landscape, the changing of how we're treating people today, just simple and easy. And so that's what our platform does. At any rate, I will open it up for questions. We got about 15 minutes left, and I'll stop sharing, I guess.
Awesome. So we had some folks that may have joined us a little late. I just want to remind everyone, please visit our virtual booth at SAO. We have a great special pricing for SAO this weekend. So check with your rep there to see what that is. We have a few questions that are here. Again, please do ask questions in the chat section in Zoom. We have a question here. Do you have to have Wi-Fi for the video visits?
Are you talking, neither one of you have to, meaning the beautiful part of Rhinogram is that no Wi-Fi is needed on the patient side. They do need a cell tower. They do need one bar of service. That's it. And you can complete a video call. And you can, because there's no app or anything for the patient to download. I mean, that's another just huge feature. We basically will take your business landline number and allow it to have a HIPAA compliant textable feature added to that. We're not changing your phone system or anything. So, and because our platform is cloud-based, you will get you can have on your cell phone a Rhinogram app as the office, so that you don't need high-speed internet, and neither does the patient. So it's really, really cool. And I have people that are out in the country, and they absolutely love that they don't have internet out there, by the way, but they do have cell service, and it's not that great, but they've been able to communicate with me. Obviously, by text, it's wonderful, but by video, they've been able to do that as well, which they haven't with a lot of the other companies, let's say in a medical visit. They were just amazed how we could do this without high-speed internet.
That's great. We have a question here. Dr. Dressler, how did you get your staff to adopt to all these new workflow processes, and did they find it easy?
Yes, that's a great question. Again, my staff are, sort of young anyway. I mean, they're texting with everybody. They're of millennial type. They may be a little older millennial, but it's what they're doing with their friends and family every single day. So it was really, really simple and easy to get them to do it. They prefer doing it. The patients prefer doing it, or most of the patients prefer doing it. So it wasn't hard at all. If you looked at the interface, it's so easy to learn. It's, you can, it was built so that really I could take somebody who knew nothing about orthodontics, and I could actually leave them at home if I wanted, because all they need is the ability to log into Rhinogram, and I could have them answer common questions that we have templated responses, because they're not having to do anything but pick the correct response and send it. And so you're beginning to communicate with practices, I mean, with patients, with people that don't have to have the knowledge as if they were picking up a phone, and then they have to have a whole heck of a lot of knowledge that has to be trained with a text response that you don't have to have that knowledge
That's
if
great.
you've got templates, but very, very easy. They didn't resist at all. And when they found that they got all that time back and they weren't spending all this time trying to chase people down to make appointment, reschedule an appointment, talk to them about their money, all of those things are a waste of time. When you can instantly text and they respond back, the vast majority of the time, you're able to do your job much quicker, faster, and easier.
We have a question here about marketing. When your practice shut down earlier this year, did you have any success marketing any type of promos for when your office reopened?
Yes, the answer is yes. And again, I felt like I was at an advantage over most offices because I've been doing this and been marketing in my area for 4 years before COVID about being the virtual orthodontist of my area. So my patients, most of them, just like you saw in that example I showed you, they were already texting in, or at least a good portion of them. So we had all kinds of exams that we got. We went ahead actually with every single appointment that was scheduled when I could not come in, and we did it virtually. We sent out texts to them saying what we're going to do, the time that slot that they currently had, we're going to keep. And instead of them doing it in office, we were able to keep our schedule on schedule, if you will, and patients being seen. And so there was never a resistance to not pay the monthly payment or anything like that, because I was able to talk to every single one of them, and my practice was in one form or another. But we never missed a beat is the end of the day. But I'm the exception. That I can't speak to that because, like I said, it was unfair. It was somewhat of an unfair advantage because I'd been doing it before COVID hit. So I was already beginning to have that reputation.
Nice. We have a question here. I think this one somehow. So in the chat section, you can ask your question to the group, or you can send it privately to me, whatever makes sense for you. We have a question that came in. I sat in one of your webinars earlier this year. Big fan of you, Dr. D. They
Thank you.
they're asking about how you talk about same day starts and how sometimes you're able to get patients to pay their down payment before even coming in for their first treatment. Has that changed during COVID, or are you seeing the same kind of
No,
positive?
yeah, it's just our workflow, and our workflow is, when my financial coordinator is communicating through text, or even they may even have a phone call or a video chat. Um, Once we've set up that same day start, I've just found that if you don't ask, you don't receive. And so we always ask, would you like to go ahead and take care of the down payment now? Now, we don't say, or take care of it when you come in for your first in-office visit, because if you give a choice, they're going to take the path of least resistance, and they'll say, oh, let's wait until we come in. So she always says, would you like to take care of that now? I can send you a quick link that you could take care of the down payment before you come in. And it's right now it's running about 50%. So 50% of the people will take it and do it. They're excited. Again, I'm a believer in sort of striking when the iron's hot, and at least giving them the opportunity to pay, because once they do that, that it's pretty much a lock. They're not going to change their minds or do anything else at that point. So anything you can do to lock them into you these days is great.
That's great. It looks like we have 5 more minutes. So if you have one more question, feel free to ask it in the chat. We have a question here. Erica, can you please tell us what the SAO special is? I can't tell you that here. That would ruin the surprise. So go to our booth, go to the SAO booth, chat with the reps there. We have an awesome show special for you guys. So go check that out. If you missed it, I will reshare. We have let's see if I can relaunch this poll. We have a poll that we started in the beginning of our session. If you want to quickly just answer this question, are you currently doing virtual exams in your office? So if you didn't answer the poll earlier, please go ahead and answer that here. And I think with that being said, we might be wrapped up for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Dressler, for
You're welcome, and great seeing you. Anybody, feel free to call me, my personal number, if you have it. If you don't, ask for it. I'm more than happy to speak to you personally about anything. So have a super fantastic day. Try to stay as positive as possible in these tough times. Anyway, great seeing all of you.
Thank you guys. And just a
Yeah.
reminder, you can chat with Dr. Dressler also on our booth, on the SAO booth. There's a little button for KOL, and Dr. Dressler is listed there if you want to chat with him directly. Thanks, guys.
Bye.